On November 2nd, Vince Carter will become the first player in Toronto Raptors history to have his jersey retired. It should be a night of celebration at Scotiabank Arena.
I've never gotten the opportunity and to be the first. It's always, just like anything in life, you remember your first.
But the decision to honor him with a jersey retirement has rubbed some Raptors fans the wrong way, with some asking if Carter deserves to be honored by a franchise they deem that he once turned his back on. In order to understand Vince's complicated history with Raptors fans, let's go back in time. Awarded an NBA expansion franchise for the 1995-96 season alongside the Vancouver Grizzlies, Toronto's new basketball team got off to a predictably bad start in its first 3 seasons, culminating with a 16-66 record for the 97-98 season. That awful season helped the Raptors secure the 4th overall pick in the NBA draft that June. Carter was drafted 5th overall by the Golden State Warriors, but was traded to Toronto for the 4th overall pick, his North Carolina teammate Anton Jamison, almost immediately. The move to Toronto paired Carter with his cousin Tracy McGrady, who had been drafted by the Raptors the previous year. Delayed by the NBA lockout in the fall of 1998, Carter burst onto the scene in January of 1999 and quickly became a fan favorite with his highlight reel dunks, which he doled out on a nightly basis. But the ultra-talented Carter could score in a multitude of ways, averaging 18 points per game and winning Rookie of the Year. Carter's impact on the team propelled them to a much more respectable 23-27 record in the lockout-shortened season. But Carter would bring a whole new level to his game in his sophomore season, upping his scoring average to 25 points per game while increasing his three-point percentage to 40%. He earned his first of 8 AllStar selections and one of his 2 All-NBA selections. But it's what he did on February 12th, 2000 that may go down as the most important night of Carter's career.
Here is the man that this crowd wants to see. All right, here is Vince Carter with his first stop.
Let's go home. Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go home.
Half man, half amazing was born.
Oh, it did not.
It's over. It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
The buzz around Carter helped the Raptors earn their first ever nationally televised game in the US just a couple weeks later. His performance that season propelled Toronto to their first ever playoff berth. While Toronto was swept by the New York Knicks in a best-of-5 first-round series, Vinsanity had arrived as a true NBA superstar. But that offseason saw a decision that ultimately changed the course of the Raptors franchise when their other budding superstar Tracy McGrady decided he wanted to leave Toronto and signed with his hometown Orlando Magic instead, in arguably one of Toronto's biggest what-if moments. Many still wonder if Toronto could have captured multiple championships had T-Mac stayed, and thereby altering Carter's career path. In Carter's 3rd season, Air Canada had arguably the best statistical season of his career, averaging 27 points per game and pushing the Raptors to a second-round playoff matchup against the Allen Iverson-led Philadelphia 76ers. The series was a back-and-forth battle that included Carter dropping 50 points in Game 3 and 39 in Game 6. But it was Game 7 that is still talked about to this day. On May 20th, 2001, Carter had his college graduation ceremony that day in North Carolina, but was also due to face the 76ers in a pivotal Game 7 that night. Instead of foregoing his college grad ceremony, Carter tried to do both, attending his graduation during the day and flying to Philadelphia for Game 7 that night. There was no shortage of criticism heaped on Carter for trying to pull off both in the same day. That night, as the Raptors trailed by 1 point and with the ball in his hands with seconds left on the clock,
Curry has it. Carter trying to get free. Carter at the buzzer. No good. And the Sixers hold on and advance to the conference finals.
While he had made numerous buzzer beaters in spectacular fashion during the season, this one wouldn't find its mark. Carter's high-flying acrobatic style of play started to take a toll on his body, and he was limited to 60 games during the 01-02 season, undergoing season-ending surgery on his left knee. Carter was likewise limited to only 43 games during the 02-03 season, and the team failed to make the playoffs that year or the next. Then came Carter's final controversy-plagued season in Toronto. By this point, relations between Carter and the Raptors front office, and to a lesser extent, Raptors fans, had soured considerably. Many accused him of quitting on the team, averaging only 15 points per game amid talk he would no longer dunk as a Toronto Raptor. Disgruntled, slumping, and amid reports of friction with the front office, Carter demanded a trade out of Toronto. The package then GM Rob Babcock got in return for Carter was extremely underwhelming when compared to his superstar status. What's worse, Carter's play immediately improved on his new team, the New Jersey Nets. New fans coming in at the tail end of Carter's tenure in Toronto were left with a sour taste in their mouths. A new generation which didn't witness the electrifying greatness of Carter were instead given a villain persona who was booed mercilessly upon his return to Toronto. But the bad blood between Carter and the fan base seemed to dissipate as the years went by. And on November 14th, 2014, Carter would return to Toronto.
Vince Carter has received a standing ovation that has brought tears to his eyes.
So where does that leave Vince? Some fans are still opposed to the franchise honoring him or believing championship point guard Kyle Lowry should be the first jersey retired. Fan anger over Carter's exit has diminished, while respect for his accomplishments as a Raptor have only grown. Raptors fans who remember the Vince Carter era remember the superstar who put Toronto on the NBA map, the attention and hype he brought to the franchise, and the feeling the city had during those years as Carter exploded onto the scene. If not for Carter's impact on the team, it's quite possible the Toronto Raptors would not have survived as an expansion team in Canada like the Vancouver, now Memphis Grizzlies did not. So congrats, Vince. At long last, the debate is over whether or not to retire your jersey.
It's over! It's over, ladies and gentlemen!
For Global News, I'm Steve Autio.